Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be 10 years with stupid husband. Yes, you heard that right. And no, that's not my title. It was actually the guy who sent the email in. That was his title. Most of the time when I get emails these days, guys are coming up with titles that they think would be good ones. Sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're not. And this one, I thought it was a great headline. One of the reasons why I chose the email. So this particular guy, he's been with his wife 10 years. He said the first 7 years he was an asshole. But the last 3 years, he's been much better. So he had this incident with his girlfriend, and I guess apparently there's every once a year or every couple. He said basically the last 3 years he's had several times like this where he's really nice to her and she's just kind of in a bitchy mood. And so he told her that they should date other people and kind of go their separate ways because he happened to meet this young, hot 22-year-old and it didn't work out with her. So it's an interesting pickle that this guy's in because now he's like, I got to get my wife back. So I got a quote that I wrote in this particular topic because there's obviously a lot of things going on in this guy's life. He even mentions at the end of his email he thinks he may need some therapy, which sounds like it'd probably be a good thing for him. A good therapist, good psychologist is, for people that feel like they need somebody to talk to and they need some help with something. Great idea. I'm totally in favor with it. I actually have a lot of therapists and psychologists that I've coached over the years. And what's great is I love teaching them my stuff so they can use a coaching perspective in their practice to help people in a different way. So the quote says, "Fear is the greatest obstacle to overcoming challenges and reaching your full potential. Fear tells you it won't work out, you won't be loved, you're not good enough, they won't like you, they won't hire you, you don't deserve to make more money, you're not smart enough, you've got to be realistic, life will never get any better, etc., etc." Attachments to the way things are or the way things have always been is like a boat anchor keeping you tied to limited ways of thinking and being that you must let go of in order to follow your heart so you can go from where you are right now to where you want to be in the future. Sooner or later, we all will run out of time and will breathe our last breath. You can either die with a smile on your face for a life well lived, having reached your full potential, or die with a frown on your face for a life full of regrets and what-ifs for having played it safe and being too adverse to taking risks. Being mediocre is a result of being too scared to do things that are outside of our comfort zone. Becoming what we dream of is the result of doing things that scare us despite our fears. I think it was Woody Allen. He said that 80% of success is showing up. Most people, when they want to do something or they feel an internal impulse to do something or move towards it, as soon as they start to feel fear, they run away from that. And then their belief system is in conflict with their goals, and that prevents them from taking any kind of positive action to move them towards what they want. So let's go through his email. He says, "Hi Coach, thank you so much for all the videos. You've helped me so much during hard times. I read your book 5 times now, and I'm working on the 6th. Pretty good. So I've been with my lady for 10 years. One day, I wanted to give her an extra special gift. One day after Black Friday, he wanted to give her an HD TV. I woke her up, which she hates when I do that, but I thought she'll like the surprise. She got super mad, and I told her what the surprise was, and she told me I can buy the one I want, and to please leave me alone. I got upset and I went back to bed. 10 minutes after, she said, okay, let's go get the TV. We went, but I was in a bad mood all day." So right there, what that tells me is the fact that your wife was in a shitty mood, you allowed that to diminish you. The purpose of all relationships, all of them, not just your intimate ones, but all of them, you go there to give. And so you wanted to give her a gift, and she was pissed at you for waking her up. But you wanted to do something nice, and so what really happened here? Her behavior didn't match your expectations. You obviously thought she would do cartwheels and backflips and be all excited and jump in your arms and tell you what a great husband you were. But obviously that did not happen. So the only mistake I can say about that is that you allowed her to put you in a shitty mood. She changed your state in essence. So in other words, you lost your shit over the fact that her behavior didn't match your expectations. All of us, we all suffer when we want somebody to do something different than what they do, or when we want our circumstances to be different than they are. And at the end of the day, all you really have control over is what you do and the meanings that you assign things. Sounds like the pinball machine's going off. That's like the Night's Watch thing. If you are Game of Thrones people, it tends to do that about every half hour because it's a full arcade pinball machine. And the idea of it sitting in a bar somewhere, it makes some noise so people go, oh, pay attention to me. Stick some more dollars in here. This is just an example of how difficult it is to do something good for her, even though I'm always trying to make her happy. We've been together for 10 years, but I was a total asshole, he puts in big letters, for the first 7 years. And the last 3 years were heaven with some small little hiccups like this one. The next day, I covered a shift in my work. I'm a bartender, and I was still upset about the TV. And so I met a new, younger girl, 22, and she knocked my socks off. We dated for 2 weeks. She needed space, and I got heartbroken. So what does that tell me? When you start dating a really super pretty girl that you like, you tend to put her on a pedestal, and you kiss her ass too much, and then you get blown off. Now that, for most men, is the experience when they get around somebody they really like. And that was what my path was when I was younger. I always felt like I could never hold on to the women that I really liked. I couldn't get past the second or third date. And this is what most guys experience when they start going out with somebody they really like. They put her on a pedestal, they start kissing her ass, and then pretty soon they get friend zoned, heartbroken, and then somebody else comes along and we end up settling because we figure, gotta be realistic. The problem is, during those 2 weeks, I told my wife that we should get some distance because I wasn't happy. He says, stupid, I know. And so we decided to be roommates. Well, at the end of the day, you thought you found somebody new, better, younger, hotter, more fun. And you were like, fuck it. So the thing you got to ask yourself is, was it really just a reaction to that one thing with the TV, or is this something that's always been in the back of your mind for your whole life, that you never really felt like maybe that's one of the reasons why you were such an asshole? Because we're not assholes to people that we respect. When we're around people that we respect, we're nice to them. But when we're not nice to people, it tends to be because they're doing things that we don't respect. Maybe it's how they're living their lives, or the way they're, in this particular case, she wasn't treating you the way you wanted. And you're like, fuck it. I met this girl. I'm going to go explore it. So obviously, that's a kind of a shitty thing to do, dude. That goes without saying. But the point being is, you got to say, after something like that, if your marriage was so great, if it was so awesome, and you're not in a marriage where you just settled. Because I look at your behavior with the young girl, and I look, if you didn't know what you were doing and you would have been good, it would have lasted more than 2 weeks, and if it would have ended, it would have been on your terms. So when I see something like that, I always going to point that out, because a lot of times when I'm talking to guys that want to get their ex back, remember, rejection breeds obsession. And they go from not giving a fuck to, as soon as a woman's like, see you later, which you're going to see here in a minute is what basically happens, they all of a sudden, oh, it's the love of my life, I got to get her back. Or, a lot of cases as well, you got guys that just did stupid things, they acted weak, they got friend zoned or blown off. And in those cases, they obviously want another chance. They want to, and that's what I can help people with, is obviously cleaning up their behavior to act like a man is supposed to act, because that will make you the most attractive that you can be. I got over the new girl after about a month, which was 45 days since the TV problem. Then I tried to get back together with my wife, but she didn't want nothing with me anymore. Now she's saying that it is better if we live in a different house, because sleeping in the same bed, we unconsciously hug each other in the middle of the night, and that doesn't help her to totally get over me. Well, if you really truly want your wife back and you're not just wanting her back because it's easy and you're settling once again because somebody else that really knocked your socks off caused you to be ready to kick your wife to the curb, that's the way life tends to work. It tends to bring you girls like this come in and out of your life. It happened to me. I wrote about one in my book, and it really made me think. In life, when things go sideways or they don't go the way you expect, whether it's your personal or your professional life, someone like this walks in, or you get fired from your job, or you get downsized, or you get passed over for a promotion, or one of your business partners says, fuck you, you're an asshole, I don't want to be in business with you anymore, or your best friend tells you to pound sand, or whatever it happens to be, I've learned in life that when things like that happen, pain is life's way of saying, hey, you need to move in a new direction. And when I encountered a woman like this that stirred these feelings in me, that I love my wife. She was a great fucking wife. She was really good to me. But deep down, I knew something was missing. And it took me a year, but I finally grew a set of balls and was honest with my wife. It's the hardest thing I ever did. I mean, that's not a pleasant thing, ending a marriage, when deep down I knew all along it was a mistake. But I just didn't know what I was doing back then. She's going out Fridays to meet new people, and I pick her up from those hangouts because she asked me, and I know she hasn't met a guy yet, but I'm sure she's browsing around until someone comes along. How can I get her back? Well, focus on you. Focus on what you want. Tell her what you want. If she says we need a different house, like, well, I want to work things out. I don't want a divorce. I don't want to split up. But if you want to leave and go rent somewhere else, that's fine. But I'm here, and this is what I want. Be playful. Be fun with her. But like I said, deep down, I mean, do you really want your wife back, or are you really just wanting her back because you haven't found anybody better? And unfortunately, that's what most people do in relationships. Is they're like, well, it's not what I really want, but I guess it's okay. I guess they're all right for now. We talk ourselves into it. We bullshit ourselves. And at some point in life, you're going to realize, I've been lying to myself. And at least in my case, after a year, I was finally willing to wake up and no longer lie to myself. I just couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to her. And I certainly didn't want to have kids with her and then fuck the kids up, because then I'd be repeating the same mistake that my own parents had made. I know I'm an idiot and I need another opportunity. Should I get out of the place? Absolutely. If you're trying to get it back, no. You're the rock. You're the mountain. You're not going anywhere. This is our home. I love you. I want to work it out. I'm sorry. It was an asshole. I shouldn't have said it. Maybe by the time you read this, I'm out of the house. She still texted me and called me during the first 3 weeks and made my laundry and breakfast still, but she doesn't do that anymore. And now I know I'm out for good, and I realize I'm an idiot for letting her go. What should I do? Well, obviously review what I wrote and shot in the video, 7 Principles to Get an Ex Back. But at the end of the day, if she doesn't want to give you another chance and she moves out and leaves, I mean, as far as the divorce goes, let her drive that train. I wouldn't go get a divorce attorney to do any of that. Just say, I want to work it out. Call me if you change your mind if she happens to move out. But I would not be the one to leave. I really need your help. I'm browsing for a therapist also because I can't stop crying, and I don't think it is for her only. There's some shit in my life that hurts deeply. Well, I would say after reading that statement, calling and reaching out to a therapist is a great idea for you, because really you got to fix you. You got to take care of you first. You got to be the kind of person that you want to attract. And whether it's you get your wife back, or, I mean, if I was a betting man, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I went through the same things that you were going through, questioning, staying with her, leaving, staying with her, leaving, going back, leaving, is that I would say deep down, if you're like most guys, you've never been with the kind of quality of woman that you really felt like you deserved. And this young, hot 22-year-old came along and stirred that within you. Those are the kinds of things that happen. It's the universe's way of saying, pay attention. Because at the end of the day, human beings are we're driven by our emotions. And we use logic and reason to justify our purchase. And if we really feel something that's really strong internally, emotionally regarding our heart, we got to listen to that, because our feelings are always our truth. So if you haven't got a copy of my audiobook, you can subscribe to audible.com and you can get it totally for free. And if you haven't read my book yet, maybe you're kind of new, you can actually, by subscribing to the newsletter on my website, you can actually read my book for free. And then you can decide to go and purchase it. And I will talk to you soon.